EP710.
It is really funny that you say hey now, because I am going to talk about
Mr. Hey Now.
Yes.
Mr. Howard Stern, really?
Yes, but not like really talk about him. I'm just going to, I had something. Now you're just living inside of an ADHD person's brain. There's another story that I heard that reminded me of Howard Stern, and I wanted to know if you thought it would be maybe the same thing.
Okay, well, I look forward to that.
I'm skipping ahead. We have
first
to check
things first.
in.
It's going to be a great show because Sarah's wearing her overalls and I'm wearing a turtleneck.
It's our standard. This is us. This is our uniform. This is our uniform. You know what? Today was the day where the episode about Bo, or yesterday was the day where the episode where I talked about Bo came out. So everybody's sending me all these nice messages, and then I'm all in my feels. And then Eli took me for a stupid, annoying run. That's the dumbest thing. Why does anybody run?
Why?
Why? I thought about you, Susie, the whole time. I was like, as soon as I started, and you know what? I gave myself a little bit of time because I was like, of course, starting anything is difficult. So then I got like a mile and a half in and I was like, nope, worst. This is awful. The fact that I have to try to distract myself from the actual thing that I'm participating in means I probably shouldn't do that thing because I don't enjoy it.
We know about chairs.
And don't give me that like, oh, well, you got to stay fit your whole life. Bleh. Walking, shown to have just as good of result. In fact, I will save my knees. And riding a bike, love those things.
Low impact.
Swimming, yoga, your girl is active. But why did I sign up for a goddamn half marathon thing?
It's so stupid.
It's like 10K, but that just rounded up. It's a half marathon or something.
Yeah, and then like all you get is a T-shirt. Like you get
and Eli's like, it's so fun. You run into the stadium, and then they're like, you're on the jumbotron. I'm like, you want I didn't tell them this. Why? Because I was out of breath and we were running.
I was panting, so I couldn't have a comeback.
Right. You're telling me that in my moment of misery where I am going to be looking like, God, please get me out of this, and thank goodness we're done. Yeah. That's going to be displayed for thousands to see?
Yeah.
Hard pass.
May I introduce you to the entire history of reality television that I participated in that already exists?
Do you want to see me puking?
Do you want to see me look like shit in front of live people?
Yeah, been there, done that. I'm good.
Thank you. Done. Why do people, like, for a while...
have the photos to prove it, as they say.
The people that love it, though...
I know.
...are very convincing that they
and you know
are
what?
telling the truth.
I thought about those people, too.
Yeah, what are they talking about?
I was on that run in my moments of misery. I was like, wow, mad props to, like, my friends who are like distance runners and like go out and they love it. Like, I feel the same about swimming. I could swim forever. You get into that space where you can be in your head and like...
It's like meditative.
It's meditative.
Yeah, so people say that about running too.
Get it. Mm-hmm. Conceptually. I can visualize it. But do I have the desire to get past? And I had like 4 times during that run. We only did like 2.5 miles. And 4 times during that run, I said to myself, oh, this is like one of those walls they talk about that you have to go through and like,
They love talking about the wall.
They love it. Ah!
You just have to get past the wall.
And it's right. I get it. And I just like have to think about, okay, like relax your shoulders and like, but you're talking yourself through the pain. Like I get what this and oh God, now even as I say it, I'm like annoyed because the therapist to me is like, well, that teaches your brain resilience and grit and like tells you that you'll be able to go through other hard things too. I'm good on that lesson.
Yeah, I'm good.
Tapped out.
Right? You like say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
If that were the case, I would be like fucking Hulk Hogan over here.
Right.
Or whoever's strong.
Sarah,
I don't even know.
The
Is
Rock
he strong?
Johnson.
Like, right. I'm like, I picked a very, very dated. I don't know. Right. He could be wheelchair bound at this point. A lot of wrestlers are.
Right. She's like Cassius Clay.
Right. Somebody's going to not like that joke that I just made. I don't know why, but that's how it goes. Oh, God, you got me giggly today. So.
I am amazed at people that enjoy running. And, I mean, good for them.
I mean, I really thought about it because I thought about, I went to Moab this weekend with Eli. It was like supposed to be our first camping trip, but we were not the only ones, turns out, that wanted to go to Moab this weekend.
It's a popular idea.
Well, we went to the first come, first serve camping spots that he was like banking on. And I was like, yeah, no problem. Okay, we'll go there. There'll be, and it's like lot A, B, C, D, and E. And so it really did feel like no room at the inn. Like, oh, A is full, B is full. And we actually got to the point where he's like, what do you, I mean, there were a lot of those sites that were really big. Like, what do you think if like we just pulled in and asked him, like, could you?
Oh my God, do you want a roommate?
Right. And I was like, I looked at him and he's like, you don't want to do that, do you? And I'm like, not in 1 million billion years. Less than I want to go running.
Right. I'm with you.
It's only because of like I would get, if it were 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe I would be like, yeah, let's go chat. You know, they're doing their thing. It's already loud outside. This is 10 p.m. on a Friday night camping, and camping 10 p.m. might as well be 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So
sundown. Come on.
After sundown, the fire over there. Well, we're gonna be like backing up setting up the tent and the trail. Nope, absolutely not. So we ended up, and this is like so classic, like Sarah's story. Like, this is the weekend that, you know, right after Bo passed away. And, you know, Eli's like, let's just make the best of it. Like, we can go and like go to the places that we want to go to without having to kind of worry about the dog, which is true. It's great. Like, taking advantage of for the limitations that we had are gone. So this was supposed to, and what do I love more than anything? Camping. You know, it's like going to be the first camp trip. It was like Murphy's Law across. We can't find a campsite. So then, of course, we're like, okay, well, we'll get on, you know, hotels or whatever.
Yeah,
like, fine.
do what you gotta
hotel.
do.
Well, there was a big car show there that weekend. So not only was everything like 4 times the price regular, but it was the only place available was the super fancy luxury one that was like $1 bajillion.
Right.
Or
Bates Motel.
The description was a no frills motel.
That's their tagline.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And Eli was very clear to point out it wasn't a motel, it was an inn.
Oh, my God.
Because it did not meet the motels where you can like drive up to the door. This was like a place you go in that's like 2 stories. It was an inn. But it had and we the bed, you could physically feel the springs.
That, I mean, at least they were honest. No frills.
Yeah, no frills.
Yeah.
Absolutely none.
You knew what you were getting.
Yes. But good water pressure. We could take a shower, no problem. But so didn't really pan out quite the way we planned it. But it was an adventure and fun nonetheless.
Yeah, that's the thing. You will remember it.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, trip to remember.
I'll tell you what else I can't ever forget is how great wild grain bread is.
This is my favorite. And now I get it all to myself.
Yeah, Mr. Keto.
I know. It's terrible. Like he's probably going to be like, you're the least supportive partner there ever was in existence.
You just you just are happy you have more bread. I mean, that's
thrilled. I do not. And I am so glad that I discovered those English muffins.
Yeah.
I say I discovered, like they didn't just send me the box of what was like the best in the fresh that week month. And so I got the English muffins.
They're great.
What we're having, what you think are English muffins that you're getting at the grocery store are not nope, garbage. Those aren't English muffins.
Right.
I don't know what those are actually.
Right. Like I said, Thomas, we have some notes for you.
Yes, some questions for you. These ones, they're like crispy on the bottom and like soft.
Well, they're very satisfying too. Like they really fill you up. It's a great way to start the day. The croissants are great too. For breakfast or a sandwich. I love having a ham sandwich and a croissant. Oh, and this is wild grain. It comes frozen and is just like ready to be baked. So when you pop those babies in the oven and get them out, it is as if you bake them with your whatever sourdough starter, whatever you people do.
Yeah, whatever you discovered to do during the pandemic. But
they are just like fresh from the bakery. They have pastries and pasta, fresh pasta that's delish. And then, of course, the breads. And they bake in 25 minutes or less. I mean, this isn't going to take you all day or anything. You sign up for it at wildgrain.com/braincandy, and then there's a deal. Plus, for a limited time, you get $30 off the first box plus free croissants in every box when you go to wildgrain.com/braincandy to start your subscription. You heard me, free croissants in every box, and $30 off your first box when you go to wildgrain.com/braincandy. That's wildgrain.com/braincandy, or you can use our promo code braincandy at checkout. You can like skip, cancel, reschedule. It's all like super easy.
Yeah, super easy. I did that because I knew we were going to be out of town for a bit and like traveling. We went to Florida, just skipped it. Super easy to do. And
so yummy.
Yeah.
I just to mention about your marathon thing, it would make it would make me so happy if you cheated.
Oh my God. How do I figure out how to do that?
That would be great press for us, I feel like.
Like, I feel like the person that I know that's a runner does not care about the, like, I don't think about like I've placed this speed. Place and this. Oh, except she did really well last year. But last year, Eli wasn't going to be able to do it because he had a foot injury. So she took his number and like ran as him, you know. And so what if I like got convinced her to swap with me for like, and I'll come in at like the fastest time. People would be like, damn, Sarah's running 6-minute miles.
Yeah. How do they prevent that? Is that you just show your ID kind of thing?
Seems like you don't even do that. System. You go and pick up the race packets because it's insanity to do it the day off. I hate that I even know this, that I have experience doing these kind of things. Because then Eli is like, didn't you do triathlons? But yes, you pick up the packet like a week or the weekend before. So, and they kind of stagger, like you can pick it up whenever. So it's like got your bib, got all the stuff you need about the race or whatever, and info, and usually your T-shirt that comes with it.
Your complimentary T-shirt.
Yeah, your complimentary T-shirt that you'll see at the Goodwill in 3 to 6 months.
I was thinking you should cheat like that lady we talked about last week.
I know.
Who got in
just
a car.
drive up. Like, I know, but like
you don't even have to.
I need like a. And I told Eli as we were running this morning because like it was very obvious. Anytime we run around somebody, he would like speed up a little bit, and I'm like, this is max speed, just buddy. And so I told him, I was like, you could just run if you want, and he had to slow down a bunch to just kind of like keep pace with me. And he's like, no, I want to like cross the finish line with you. I want to be on the jumbotron with you. Like, so
he's
what?
Really,
he can
really into that jumbotron.
Well, that was just what he said, and yeah, probably for the hilarious picture of what I'm going to look like. I know where his mind's at. I see what kind of photos he takes of me. They're always
he sees the comedy potential.
So and I'm like, he's like, no, I want to like do this with you. So like, how am I going to distract him while cheating?
Yeah, I don't think he would condone that.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Well, thanks for nothing, Eli.
I know.
It would have been really funny. Okay.
So funny.
But wait a minute. Back to this hotel thing. Why do you think you have such bad luck? You have had
my
several.
God. That's so true.
Are you, because it's a last minute booking type of deal?
No, often? This wasn't even supposed to be like that. We were like banking on camping spots. Right.
But I mean, is that why
there's got to be some lesson in like learning how to relinquish control and just go with the flow that I need to learn in here. I'm sure.
I wouldn't have stayed at that motel, so I think you're doing pretty well.
Well,
I'm not staying at a no frills inn. That is not for me.
It wasn't for me either, but camping was out of the picture, and you guys are going to need to be using a lot of our coupon codes if I'm going to stay at the other hotel.
Sarah's on a budget.
I'm on a budget. Your gal's on a budget. So
yeah, when you use our coupon codes, it helps our show. So that is
it helps our show. It helps make it so I can make the decision to up the star from 2 to 3.
Splurge, yeah.
You think I'm kidding? I am not kidding.
Yeah.
So
Well, I admire your flexibility.
But it was beautiful. Moab is like, I was saying to Eli, like, I get it. If I were somebody, like, I just think of like the Mormon settlers who are like going to different states, and you come to Utah and you see that land there, you're like, yep, this is a gift from God. This is heaven. Mine. Yeah. Yes. Oh, thank you for reminding me. I was like, I have to bring this up on the podcast. Okay. Let me paint the scene. We're stopping at all of these. We're driving through Canyonlands National Park. Mm-hmm. We're stopping at all the overlooks. We're like doing all the hike. There are all these great little hikes that are just like a mile or a mile and a half that are like where you can see the beautiful features of that you see, canyons, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
We come to one that's like closer to the parking lot and all paved. So it's like a busier and more of like your old tourists who are there.
Yeah.
And there's a plaque that's there that's talking about, somebody whose last name is Powell. I remember because his trail ends in Lake Powell. He was like a Civil War vet, question mark what side he was on. They didn't say that but I don't know. And the plaque's talking all about how he explored this area and was like the first to explore there. Mm-hmm. And
right.
Yeah.
Apart
and then
from the people that lived there.
Thank you, Susie. So as I'm like reading this plaque and be like, there's an older man who comes up behind me and he wants to mansplain what I've just read on there and then give me his own facts. And he was like talking to like, oh yeah, he's a Civil War general, da 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 da. And he came down this river. Can you believe that they did this river in wooden boats and all this? And I so bad wanted to be like, yeah, what do you think the Native Americans thought of him?
You should have.
I know. And I thought we left. And then Eli was like, I was probably already in a mood that day where like Eli told me that I experienced every single emotion that existed on the first day we got the Moab.
The full human experience.
Isn't a compliment. So I was like trying to make the best of it, trying to not be sad about Bo, trying to just like manage that we're staying in a motel even though I want to be camping, trying to like keep my like feminist rage at bay as this man tries to mansplain me like the sign.
What made you feel that it was offensive? Like what about that was a problem?
Oh, me to say that?
Like what was he trying to correct you about? Or
he wasn't trying to correct me. He was literally just reiterating the facts in the plaque that we just read. Like I'm standing next to him. We're all reading the same fucking plaque.
Right.
It's not like he stepped back and was like, wow, interesting information on there. Let's discuss. He restated the things that were written on there. And I was like, yeah, I know.
I can read. Yeah.
And I was like, that's why I really wanted to be like, imagine what the Native American, I wonder what they thought of him.
Isn't that crazy?
Like he talked about it in a way where he was like really proud that this white guy went down a river that like the Colorado River, like he's the first fucking guy to do that. I'm like, and I told that to Eli, I was like, we do understand that there were people here.
Right.
You know those petroglyphs that they have in that canyon over there? Who do you think made those? People who have been down that river 1 million times with boats that lasted. And then they like talk about how like half of his men were lost. Yeah, because they were fucking dummies. Probably not like the Native Americans who knew what they were doing. Whoa. That's what I wanted to say.
Wow. Powell is not here to defend himself right now.
No. I know.
I feel bad
this
for him
is like, I took out all of my anger and rage on this plaque and this man, like, after he left, like, when he wasn't even around to also defend himself or, like, make it. But he just had that, you know, it could have very well been my HOA guy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Anybody who's maybe a longtime listener knows, like, there was an incident where I left my trash cans out for, like, 12 hours longer than was quote unquote allowed.
Yeah. And he was on the case.
I got a letter. So that guy, his pants are hiked so high up.
It's so funny how that type of person used to like claim like entire pieces of land, like Powell, but now they just like tell you like fun facts that you didn't ask for.
I was like,
yeah, good story.
And Eli's standing next to me, and it's like he wasn't telling Eli, he was telling me.
Yeah.
And then the thing that I was most annoyed about was I finished reading that long before both of them did, because I can read fucking super fast at like superhuman speed. So I should have been telling them the facts on it. Let me just save you guys.
I'm surprised you didn't, to be
honest.
honest.
Let me skip to the end for you, since you guys are a little slower. I'm sorry. Eli's fine. Eli's getting roped into just because he was like
taken down.
It's terrible. But
I'll tell you what's not terrible, and that is taking your vitamins. And
every day.
The only vitamins for us are Ritual.
I took it up a notch because you know what I got myself?
Probiotic.
No. You're going to be like, Sarah, I can't believe we're fucking starting here. One of those little pill containers with the days of the week in it. So now I take them. I love it. I feel so on top of it because I remember to do it, and I know. And now on my calendar, I got a little box that's take your pills or medicines. Take your little supply.
That's great. I mean, I don't have a pill box, but I've heard good things. So maybe it's time. But
you're somebody with a memory, so.
Well, I have a good working memory. But yeah, Ritual vitamins are where it's at. They taste delicious. They don't have any sort of weird side effects where you get, I took my vitamins, I'm going to puke, which used to happen to me all the time.
Right.
And they have really delicious protein powder that I highly recommend, and my mom takes it too. 100% regeneratively farmed peas is what it's made out of. I don't know how they do it.
It's adorable. Pea protein.
It's adorable.
Just sounds cute.
But it tastes like amazing because it's special vanilla. Once you try Essential Protein, you won't want to go a day without it. Lucky for you, Ritual's offering our listeners 10% off during your first 3 months. Visit ritual.com/braincandy to start Ritual or add Essential Protein to your subscription today. Yeah, I do the probiotic. I would recommend it.
Yeah.
Also. Okay. Anyway, moving on. What else you got?
Yeah. So Moab was like highs and lows, just like the valley, as you say. Yeah. Hence the name. Right. It does make me feel really good to know, like, we got the annual pass for the parks, and the last time I owned one of those, Susie, yes, you, gave me that for my birthday, I think it was, or Christmas, but some perfectly appropriate gift. And then we went into fucking lockdown, and then we had COVID.
Yeah.
And I remember I only got to use it 2 times. And I was just like, I felt worse that I didn't get to use. I was like, but Susie got this for me and I couldn't even use it. Like, that was what I was like really upset about. And so now I'm like, okay, we're going to get good use out of our parks pass. We're going to.
If you have a 4th grader, or you have a kid that will be going into 4th grade, you get in for free. You just print it out online. I don't know why 4th grade, where that came from, but anyone in the United States is in 4th grade. Yeah.
Because that's when they like start paying attention to what you're telling them. It's adorable. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I hear that you can also rent one of those from your library.
Wow. I didn't know
the Los Angeles.
Cool.
Yeah. LA County Library. You can check out a National Parks Pass. They have a whole bunch on like loan,
3
I guess.
cheers for libraries.
I mean, they're the best. And I can't believe that one county, I'm sure it's in Florida, that was banning some books. The school board, like they fought against the book ban, and so they decided to defund the library instead.
That is really disturbing.
And also with that went like some like early like daycare and
and libraries are one of the last. They call them third spaces. I don't know why they're called that, but like malls used to be one, you know, but libraries are special because they are free, you know? So like, it's even better than a place where you have to buy shit, but it's so useful to the community and so important.
So important. Can you think about the kind of people that you know that work in like library science or librarians? I
never met a shitty librarian ever.
Never one time. They will like give you the shawl, probably self-crocheted off their back.
Sarah, stop it. That's so funny.
You know that's accurate.
Oh God, that's so true. Yes, that is true.
And they're actually speaking up. There's because I saw a whole thing on the LA library and what else they offer. They even you can rent
musical
like crafting supplies. Yeah, ukulele, a 3D printer, like a whole bunch of crafting stuff. That's super fun.
Yeah, man. Three cheers.
Okay, so like, do I have any stories to tell you? Yes, so many. This was just a side to get back to the thing that I was saying about Howard Stern. So I was listening to Wait, Don't Tell Me, and they had Weird Al on as a guest.
That's fun.
In my mind, I was like, Susie either loves Weird Al or hates Weird Al.
No, I love him.
Okay, I knew it was going to go strong either way. And because Weird Al, whose story is so fantastic, and he's such an amazing guy, and then there's a new like Weird Al documentary like movie that's coming out.
That. Yeah,
did you see it?
We watched it. Yeah,
you watched it.
It's not a documentary. It's fiction.
Okay, it's fiction. So what I was thinking, because I hadn't seen it, but I heard him talk about it, I was like, oh my God, it sounds like a PG version of Private Parts.
Ooh, that's, you know what? You're onto something there.
Okay. And I was like, is Weird Al the PG or G version of Howard Stern in some way? And I thought kind of yes.
What made the movie cool is his, obviously his musical genre is parody. So then his biopic is a parody of biopics.
Yes.
So it's not actually his life story.
That's clever.
Yeah. It's just made up stuff. None of it's true.
So there were something, that's what he was talking about on Wait, Don't Tell Me, is they were asking about it and they were like, some things are true and some things aren't. He said the thing that was true is that a traveling salesman really did come to the door with instruments and he had the choice between a guitar or an accordion. He chose accordion.
Yes. Well, and his relative was a very famous polka musician.
I don't know why it's so funny, but it just
My grandparents loved dancing to Frankie Yankovic's polka music.
Frankie Yankovic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So I can see why the accordion would be appealing. It's like the family business kind of.
So that was fun. Where I thought about Howard Stern and I thought about Weird Al and I thought about, and I was like, if they don't, their hairdressers should link up or like they need to like exchange beauty tips because, and maybe throw Kenny G in there while you're at it. I don't know.
Well, because
it's like similar hair texture.
So he's got the Jew fro thing.
But is
why
Weird Al.
Oh, he's Jewish?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, he did. Okay. He said something in the interview about being an awkward Jewish boy or something like that I just stood out and I was like, okay, maybe. And then like that they feel like a similar energy. And if that didn't happen and I'm just guessing that, now I have to know. I have to look up his Weird Al Jewish.
Well, while you're looking it up, the sad thing is how his folks died from carbon monoxide poisoning in their own home. Not too long ago, a few years ago. Isn't that so sad?
That's terrible.
Yeah. It was just one of those things. There was a leak.
Says I totally made this up. He's not Jewish.
Classic.
It says, but he definitely knows some Yiddish. I don't know why it says that on there.
Well, he definitely has the sensibility of fella.
And it says in JewishUnpacked.com says, is Weird Al Jewish? He definitely knows a little Yiddish. Weird Al Yankovic is not Jewish, but a very Jewish person, a.k.a. Daniel Radcliffe, is playing him in the newly released biographical film.
That is right. Okay.
Maybe
now we know.
Where did I get that? Did I just want him to be Jewish? Is it just that anybody who's fun and has a good sense of humor and I'm just like,
and
I
has
love
curly
them.
long hair.
Yeah, I'm like they're Jewish probably.
Yeah, he's the best.
I love that you watched it.
Yeah, because Lincoln likes Weird Al a lot. like he's at the age where like those songs are very funny.
Very.
Amish Paradise, I think, is his favorite.
Oh my God, you live in the perfect place.
Yeah, right. Well, and when I went to the VMAs in 1999 or 98, I stood behind him in the buffet line.
Whoa!
Yeah, it was really special. I was very excited.
And you didn't chat him up? It seems like you two could have... He could be sitting here now.
Well, he was in front of me and I go, hey, what's the holdup? Let's get this line moving. And then he turned around and I saw that it was him. But I didn't know when I was being silly.
Oh my gosh.
The girl's got to eat, you know?
Yeah. How did he respond? Is he funny? What's he like?
He was very shy and quiet.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that. Like he said that when he was being interviewed that they were asking him about what it's like being calling himself weird, and you're just kind of like identified as that. Like that's what you did. It's like you label yourself weird, and now that's your character. And he says that he gets a lot of letters from people who have been called weird or feel weird, and how that he's normalized it in a way where
he like celebrates it.
Yeah, celebrated and something that's kind of cool in a way.
His Behind the Music is one of my favorites, though, because there's no scandal at all. Like that was sort of the point. He doesn't drink. He doesn't do drugs. He's not a womanizer. He's just like a really nice guy. And that's it.
That's the best. We need more of that.
Yeah.
So
he's a treasure.
I feel like that's adorable.
I'll tell you what else is adorable.
Yes.
And that is if I grew my hair to look like Weird Al, and maybe I can now thanks to Nutrafol.
Nailed it. Yes.
Because
I am hearing so many people talk about this, ask me about this. I have a friend who lives in Colorado who just posted a video where she was talking about how her hair is just really damaged and dry from living in Colorado, and like, what's the solution? Yeah. And so I sent her a message and I was like, I will hook you up. Let me give you some Nutrafol. And she goes, oh my God, thank you so much. I've had so many people write me. And because she put one of those question boxes up, and so many people saying like, yeah, you should definitely try this.
Yeah, because
the word is spreading. Number
one, dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement, because I'm trying to grow my hair out after so much of it fell out because of the accident. It's clinically proven to improve your hair growth, thickness, and visible scalp coverage. And like, it might sound sort of silly, but if you have this problem, thinning or breakage or whatever, it's like shame inducing. It's that feeling of like you're embarrassed, even though it's nothing you did. It's not your fault. Yeah. And so any help you can get, I think, is invaluable. So you can grow thicker, healthier hair and support our show by going to Nutrafol.com and entering the promo code BRAINCANDY to save $10 off your first month subscription. This offer is only available to U.S. customers for a limited time, plus free shipping on every order. Get $10 off at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code BRAINCANDY. Adam just texted me and said, haha, good one. He liked my transition to that one. You know, nice. I try. I really do.
Nice. Okay. What else do I have to talk about? Would you like to hear about a condition where you can't feel anything? Or would you like to hear about artificial intelligence?
You mean like they can't feel pain or anything?
Like anything.
I wanted that one because I can't believe that.
So this article that I read said, the headline was something along the lines of like, new discovery shows that you don't have to feel something physically to know what it is and to like know what the experience is and how they know that. So for example, if I said, they're giving me a cold stare, it was believed before this person was discovered that people who have something called somatosensation sensory nerve disorder couldn't, which is basically like you can't feel anything. You don't even have these like feeling nerves, couldn't conceptually understand that because they weren't able to physically feel the sensation of being cold. So they weren't able to have a meaning because we need an actual experience to have a meaning. But that all changed and they kind of threw that old information out because there's this woman, they named her Kim and they're keeping her identity a secret in this research, who has this somatosensation sensory nerve fiber condition that essentially it's like what's in your skin and your body that causes us to be able to feel. It's the neurofibers, the nerve fibers that send the message to our brain that like, this is hot, this is cold, whatever.
So it's like a messenger issue.
Yeah. It's like a messenger. Yeah. It's more like, I would say it's more like a receiver issue. I think, and if there's nothing to receive the information, then it doesn't even get sent along that line to then get processed by the brain. So we kind of believed that humans perceive everything based on experiences. And a lot of these are metaphors like that we use in language. And the only way, it was believed that the only way that we perceive metaphors is through experience. But there's been some pushback on that, especially in like the deaf community, because the deaf community will say like, if you say that color is loud, we know exactly what you're fucking talking about. And it does not have to be. And I feel like they would say fuck because they're kind of like that, a little saucy. So,
wow. So they get it without having experienced that. So
before it was believed that you had to live something, you had to experience something and feel it to be able to create a understanding of what that means. So what happened is she's like pushing back on the idea that you learn through association. And instead, she's learning things through the interpretations of metaphors. In the same way deaf people understand that color is loud, even though they can't hear noise, knows that that's like intense and bright and or whatever it may be, that she's incorrect sometimes. Like the example she gave was she assumed that grits were gritty because of her her understanding of what the word and like the logical explanation. She said she's very literal, takes things very, very literally. But so if she can understand the metaphor.
Or are these folks relying on inference?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. In a way. And like it shows that our ability to understand a concept is not about necessarily our experience with that concept, but our ability to make meaning from that message and what we infer from that. So, like, for example, I may not know 100% of what it's like, but I don't have to experience going on a plane to know about going on a plane if I have a good understanding or a good interpretation of, and could make good logical sense of what people are telling me about planes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But like, I guess I don't understand why this is surprising because
apparently with people who have this condition, they weren't ever able to understand those things. It's almost like she's put extra effort into learning about what does that mean? Or there's something about, I don't know if it's access to the internet, more different, like a range of conversation, exposure to who I don't even know. Because I would imagine that the people who have this condition, it's very, very rare. So we probably have older data of people who weren't like.
Well, and I think it took me a minute to even get to how all consuming this is because like, everything. For instance, I thought, well, I don't have balls, but I can imagine like, if you're kicked in the balls, like I get it, but like that's because I've experienced pain.
Right. She would have nothing of that.
No frame of reference.
Totally.
Right.
Yes.
That is wild.
Isn't it? And it just like makes you question, like it kind of gives some insight into learning how we can teach somebody something. Yeah, it's interesting.
I mean, that is remarkable. I've heard of these people, and I know that it's real dangerous because if you don't experience pain, like at first it sounds great. Like, oh my gosh, no pain. But then the reason we have pain is to tell us like, hey, stop doing that thing.
Right. The way it was written, the way the article was written, it kind of felt like she was in like a clinic or like somewhere where she's like constantly observed.
Right.
Like it didn't feel like you can run into Kim at the grocery store. Like that was not the vibe I got. And I don't even know how old she is from this. They didn't give any information about, that's not even a real name.
And she also doesn't experience the feeling of pleasure, pleasurable feelings either.
No.
Sensory stuff.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
That's a real bummer.
Yeah.
She doesn't even feel pressure. You know how sometimes it's like it's numb, but you
it's can feel nothing. Like they gave a list. I'm trying to find the original article that I saw this from, but they gave a list of the examples of phrases that these people who have this condition wouldn't be able to understand, and they're so regular and like mundane and like not they're like that's hard to handle.
Right.
It's like that.
Right.
That it's weird. It's like, so what happens is areas of our brain that light up when you say something like that are linked to our experience holding other things that are hard. Handle, like holding a handle, feeling what that pressure feels like. Hard to handle. You might think of something slippery. You might think of something heavy. The part of your brain that is linked to, I would imagine your hippocampus, because that's like memory and stuff like that. So the part of your brain that like stores the information in what does this all mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like creates a meaning and understanding based on its past experiences, like kind of doesn't work. So you don't have that, like, I don't know. It's like lived experience to then create a meaning, kind of like, when people have those brain disorders where they'll have an injury or something and all of a sudden they won't be able to recognize faces, or they won't be able to recognize like somebody that they all knew. Like they'll be able to maybe like know their name or know certain things, but they can't like place them, or they can't, there's like weird things where like you can hear the words and you hear what they're saying, but they don't sound familiar or something. It feels something like that, like similar to that, where whatever part of your brain is supposed to then go like, oh, that's what this is. That we can like make connections.
I am very glad of all of our senses that this is apparently the one that is least affected in terms of not having the ability to hear or see. Like those are more common.
Oh my God. I did not even think about that.
Yeah. Like to not have touch is
holy
rare.
Shit. Because that's it. That really is it. Is like smell, sound, taste. Touch, see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The certain ones are much more common to have.
Yeah, because
issues
the one that I've even heard of, I think, was just pain receptors. Like they could feel and walk around. They just had to be very careful about a lot of things. But this sounds like this woman doesn't have any sense of touch or feeling. Because even when I had my C-section, for example, of course I'm numb, but I knew when they were using that knife because there's like a tugging or like a pulling or pressure.
Oh, there's like a sensation, but you wouldn't even be able to feel really the sensation.
Hurt. Yeah. For her, there's nothing. That's hard.
Yeah. Oh God, that's really...
I'll tell you what else is hard, and that is being a person. But luckily, this show is sponsored by BetterHelp, and they can help you be a person.
Yes.
Right? Because
absolutely.
That's what therapy does.
It's really hard, and it is very, very hard out there to find a therapist and connect to a therapist. And BetterHelp, you can even be selective about the therapist you want. You should always be selective about your therapist.
Yeah. Yeah, you could narrow it down, for example, by specialty or, lots of different things. And that way you're more likely to get someone that's right match for you. Because it is hard to, you want to find someone that is well suited for you. Sarah and I were joking before we started recording. I was saying, like, how am I this old and I keep making the same mistakes or have the same issues with family or whatever. And it's like, well, that's everybody. That's called the human condition. And so that's why we need folks who can walk us through the journey of life, and we keep learning and growing. And BetterHelp allows you to do that from the comfort of your home or wherever you are, because you can do it all virtually, whether it's video or text or whatever you're comfortable with. If you're thinking of starting, I think this is a great introduction to it too, because sometimes people are intimidated or maybe not comfortable with the concept. And this is a good option for you. Let me tell you what the deal is. You can visit betterhelp.com/braincandy today, and you'll get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/braincandy. Find more balance with BetterHelp.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'll read you because I found the article finally. It says, having a tough time at work, been trying to sort out a thorny problem, or push through a hard training program? For most of us, these questions we understand instinctively, so much so that we don't even notice the metaphorical language being used.
Right.
That was it. I had to read those 4 times to be like, tough time at work. Oh, tough. That's all that. So people who have, they are born without somatosensation, which is the ability to feel touch, pain, pressure, temperature, and proprioception. I don't even know what that is. It was believed, that's like the sixth sense that we have.
Really?
Yeah, that's what it says.
Oh my goodness.
It's it described it as that the mom's uncanny ability to detect shenanigans anywhere within a 30-mile radius. Something's going on, right? That.
Like your gut instinct.
Yeah, that. She doesn't have that.
That's crazy.
Before, it was believed that those normal phrases were essentially incomprehensible.
Wow.
But now they've discovered this woman or girl, I don't even know, Kim, they don't say anything about her age or anything, who is born without somatosensation. So she lacks the sensory nerve fibers that allow her to feel her own body. And they make her, the article says it makes her incredibly interesting from a neurobiological standpoint. And they said it's they've never seen this before. They've never been able to study her in the way, they called her a gift.
I wonder how
the professor at the University of Chicago's Department of Linguistics
figured it out. Because, babies are able to
Oh my God, what a good question.
I wish Kate or Kim or whatever would be open the floodgates here, because we have a lot of questions. She seems real private.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, it says that she's been working with specialists of neurobiology since 2014 to investigate how different her experience is from the rest of the world and language and all that. And they said, actually, it's not so different at all. That even though she has no somatosensation, she has been able to interpret the world and she said she draws on linguistic definitions for information. So she looks at what does that word actually mean? And then makes, that was where she said, it's not foolproof, because sometimes you think grits are going to be gritty. And in all fairness, before I tried them, I thought so too.
I mean, wouldn't you say they're a little bit, they're textury. They're not smooth.
Yeah. They're not gritty like sand.
Yeah.
But they're texture. They're
There's like little balls in there or something.
Little balls in there.
What is it, like cornmeal or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been on an
Kim,
oatmeal kick, so it feels like an extra neighbor of that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Kim, I think they're a little gritty. I mean, listen, I don't want to split hairs here, which is another phrase she probably.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe she would, because that's not a feeling so much as like a.
Well, she's crushing it. She does great.
Oh yeah,
it's just all these other dummies who came. Dummies. That's so sorry. That's so sad. That's terrible.
So funny. I'll take it out, but that is
no. You leave it in there. Who cares? Okay, what do you think? The people with somatosensory nerve disorder from the past are gonna come at me? Let them.
Well, it's like when I say hookers. Like I don't literally mean hookers.
Right. I didn't mean to. But in my mind, because as somebody who has read so many scientific articles and like. When I was in grad school, like it felt like every single research like participant, everybody that they were studying was a fucking white guy.
Yeah.
So when I say like those dummies, like I just imagine these like white guys who are like, nope, I'm not learning any new things, and like don't want to make like infer metaphors and don't want to learn, which could totally not be the case. I am 100% just projecting my feelings about the guy who came up to me and mansplained me the sign. Obviously, this is trickle over from that. Yeah. Like, I'm pretty sure if you follow my Instagram and you see my therapy terms explained, projection is one that I'm doing soon. So.
That's funny. But I mean, it is remarkable what Kim has been able to,
right,
infer and decipher using just sort of linguistic stuff. Because I guess if you like one of the phrases in that thing said push through, so maybe she doesn't know what it feels like to push through, but she's seen people push things. She probably has pushed things, so you maybe just understand that level too. Yeah,
and if somebody describes something well enough to us, we can almost imagine ourselves in that experience. So I think she is probably like, man, like really putting in some work on being empathetic or like trying to imagine herself in other people's shoes. Cause like, if you don't have you can't feel your own body. Like, I don't even think we understand what that means, where you can't tell if you're hot or cold. It is dangerous because you don't know. You could be getting a sunburn and, we get that little tingle and we're like, oh, better go inside. You like have dry lips and you're like, oh, I better put on some chapstick.
Every single thing you feel is designed to help you live.
Correct. And she's like
her body is betraying her in that way. Yeah.
It's really,
So she is a
really
miracle.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what they said. Okay. A little bit of an update. Do you remember when we talked about the principal that was fired because she showed the Michelangelo sculpture to the children?
Yes, I do.
Well, I read an article that just had kind of an update on that story. So this was it was the principal. It was in Florida. And because I think we were going back and forth. Was it a principal or teacher? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, because none of it makes sense. But
none of it makes sense. So it was a 6th grade class, and it's a part of their Renaissance art program. They've done it every single frickin' year, and there really is. They said in the article there is no need for the teacher to even send, or the the principal to even send out a letter to inform parents, but as an act of like, just to make sure. In the past, they've sent out like, hey, just so you know, this is what's going to happen. Well, she just assumed that letter was going out this year because it's gone out all the other years, even though it doesn't have to. And it didn't go out this year. The email that was like warning teachers or parents that this is what the kids were going to be learning. Something that in all other, if you are a freaking 1st grader in Florence, you go to see this on a fucking field trip. It's like, no problem.
It's
the dumbest thing in the world. Well, they gave her the option to either be fired without cause or to resign. So of course she resigned, and she was saying like she's really sad. She misses the kid. She's still like, they didn't give her like a really good reason as to like why this was. It just was, there were so many people who complained about it, I guess. But
how is that possible?
Don't worry, because the director of the Florence Accademia Gallery, which is where the David is in Florence, Italy, invited her to come out. So, and the mayor, or whoever it is, of Florence was like, you be our guest. And they invited her too. And so she got to see it. And she was like, it was really special to see it in real life. But
what if she went and she was like, this is disgusting. This is pornographic. I am offended.
That's what the parents said. They were like, it's pornographic. Which I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. If we don't understand the difference between that and like, I can't.
I'm happy that she got a fun trip and I'm sure she'll land on her feet, but it's just hard to believe that really happened. Yeah.
And it reminded me of an article. I read it. Oh, it came out. I don't know. It was from a little while ago, but it was talking about this article. I want to say it was in the Atlantic, was talking about how a lot of we're now discovering a lot of art that had previously been hidden, and we don't even know what could have been destroyed and damaged. That this like puritanical, like, don't show any body parts, like hide that, put that away, has done a big disservice to us with when it comes to actual factual information on what people at that time believed or liked or took part in, because they're like, oh my God, that looks like a penis, hide it. And so now we're just having like historians go back and kind of look at the artifacts from the past that were hidden away, or were like looking at things like through a different lens that shows us like people have been like using sex toys for like way fucking longer than we thought.
Right. Because it was all sort of buried.
They're like, oh, that's a penis. We're not going to study that. Now people are like, maybe we should study that because that's what they put on the sides of fucking buildings. And, you know.
I don't get it.
I don't either. So it reminded me of the book burning stuff that like, or book banning stuff, which might as well be burning stuff that's like happening right now, and how what that does for future generations and their understanding of beliefs at this time.
Yeah, it causes misinformation.
Yes.
It causes shame, and it doesn't actually prevent people from being exposed to the thing that you're hiding.
Right.
So all of the consequences are just like bad news.
Bad news.
Bad news.
Right.
Well, I remember when I was little, we went to this restaurant and they gave out, it was like one of these like Western style places, and they gave out these little things for the kids to color. And so the ladies on the thing had like Western saloon type outfits on.
Yeah.
And one of them had like some cleavage, but like I wouldn't have even noticed it. And my mom made me cover over the cleavage. And that was my first memory of like shame.
Oh my God. So something that was like the Barbara Streisand effect that it had on.
Yeah,
and
right.
She was like, cover up your cleavage. And you're like, when I'm older, I'm going to pay for my own cleavage. And it's going to be huge.
Right. I'm putting these babies on
And you know
show.
what? I might wear a turtleneck and cover it up all the time, but that's besides the point.
But they're there. They're there.
If I wanted to, I could show them off. Oh, that's
but
really
I
funny.
think that is a formative, you know, when you, the first time you realize, I'm supposed to I'm supposed to hide this for some reason.
The fact that it stands out there in your memory really says a lot. That was
so stupid.
That was a moment where you're like, oh, I'm supposed to, this is the meaning
like it was
that
taboo, that it was bad. It was, immoral or something.
Yeah. What would you tell that little Susie now?
You know, like I wouldn't even talk about it.
Right.
Color, for Pete's sake.
Have you seen that image? It's supposed to be, it's like a vase. And it's a test that they use on children to see if they've been sexualized. Oh. And it is a vase. It's one of those like mind tricks where you like see, is it two faces or is it a vase kind of thing?
Yeah.
So it's like an urn or a vase or something. And if you look at it and you have not had any experience and like you don't have a mind that's been sexualized or exposed to any of that, you will see dolphins. You'll see, because you have no frame of reference for the other thing. And if you exposed to things of a sexual nature, you will see two people in an embrace, in like a sexual like embrace and like intimate kind of position.
I swear if I looked at it, I'd see dolphins still.
And let's pull it up. I'll pull it up right now.
I'm so indoctrinated still.
Okay.
Dolphins. Probably be like, I don't see those people.
Earn or...
But they use this like in terms...
Yeah.
Do medical professionals use this, or who's using this? Or just sort of researchers?
I think, I don't know if it would be something that you could like, that it holds any, like it's so obvious.
Right. It's just like... Okay,
here's the image.
Oh yeah, I see. I definitely see too. I don't even see dolphins.
Right. Well, if you look, they're everywhere. It's like a dolphin, a dolphin, a dolphin.
Okay. Oh
dolphin,
my God, I should show Lincoln.
Dolphin.
I'm going to show Lincoln.
There are apparently like 12 of them. You can see them here. I'll click on this one that has them colored in.
Oh my gosh.
And so that is what you'll see and isn't that interesting?
Yes, it is. That is really wild.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can't believe I've never talked about that on here.
Hey, by the way, somebody
and I was like, what if I see dolphins fucking? What does that mean? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. That's a joke.
Well, I was about to say, hey, we need to wind it down, but I remembered that we got this review from someone. It was 5 stars, so thank you for that person. But they were really annoyed about the wind down and like felt like it was insulting that we'd cover all this material and then like we repeat it. And I thought it was funny because the reason we do the wind down is because people said it was like too abrupt.
They were like, you can't just end. So maybe we need like a different kind of self-care. We need to like check in, like, I think we could do a
wind down, but with like just sort of like how you do on the phone. Like, okay, well, it was really nice talking to you.
Okay, so like, so we learned a lot today. We don't have to like recover it.
No,
but
well, that'd be insulting to the listeners.
Apparently.
No, we certainly never meant it that way, but the reason came to be because we used to just be like, all right, well, see you next time.
Yeah, and then people were like, there you go. If you see dolphins or you see naked people, the end. Bye.
Bye.
And people didn't like that. So now we're like, well, we talked about a lot.
I guess we overcorrected or something.
Maybe we did. But we're just like wrapping up. Is Weird Al Jewish? No. Does he give off Jewish vibes of like awesome, funny, and like a good guy? Yes.
Yes. Right.
Has he probably been to like a Seder and like probably yes.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll work on the wind down, but we appreciate the 5-star review. And we appreciate all of your reviews and for just your listening and being a subscriber.
Yeah. And like, that's all. And I'll tell you
she wants to wind down so bad.
I do so bad, but we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.